I want to thank my colleagues on behalf of myself and Senator Kirk for approving yesterday a resolution designating tomorrow, June 15th, as World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. The resolution that Senator Kirk and I offered and that this body passed recognizes the scourge that elder abuse represents here in America and around the world. I thank my colleagues for supporting it overwhelmingly, and I thank the President of the United States for proclaiming tomorrow, June 15th, as World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, and to Secretary Sebelius for announcing today that $5.5 million in funding for states and tribes will be available to test ways to prevent elder abuse, neglect, and exploitation. This initiative helps to implement the Elder Justice Act, which was enacted as part of the Affordable Care Act. And I believe that this kind of initiative brings together in partnership local, state, federal authorities and private groups to combat this epidemic. It is a spreading epidemic of abuse of elders. We have statistics that indicate how it is, in fact, spreading. Elder abuse incidents have increased by 150% in the last 10 years alone. A recent study of the GAO shows that every year, 14% of all non-institutionalized adults are victims of abuse or neglect or exploitation, whether physical or financial or even sexual. So the statistics show a trend that is undeniable, not only in the 2 million adults who are maltreated every year, but in the $2.9 billion taken from older adults each year as a result of financial abuse and exploitation. $2.9 billion every year taken from older Americans. But the statistics tell only a fraction of the story, because the fact is that only one out of every 44 incidents of financial abuse is reported. 43 out of 44 incidents are unreported. And in fact, of all incidents of abuse, 22 out of 23 are unreported. And the reasons are diverse. They may be shame, embarrassment. In fact, one of the most common reasons for underreporting is that the victim is related to the perpetrator. Sadly, shamefully, tragically, all too many victims of elder abuse suffer at the hands of relatives. It may be a daughter or son, it may be a brother or sister, and all too often they are victims at the hands of caregivers who are entrusted with their care, literally in positions of trust for people who may suffer physically from debilitating illnesses or from dementia or other kinds of afflictions. And so this population is among our most vulnerable, and we must take stronger steps to protect them. As Attorney General, I sought to lead such efforts. And in fact, Connecticut now has stronger measures against elder abuse, such as more thorough background checks as a result of these initiatives. As a member of the Committee on Aging, I held a hearing in Hartford very recently to document this spreading epidemic and the way it affects all of us, all of our relatives, all of our friends. It cuts across all lines of geography, race, gender, even income group. And so this epidemic must be stopped. And that is why this resolution is important in calling attention to the problem. The President's proclamation enhances awareness, and I thank my colleagues for their continued effort and their involvement in this cause. What's required at the end of the day is more resources. More resources for law enforcement authorities that have such a critical role in protecting those who suffer from it and deterring those who would commit it. And partnerships among state, local, and federal authorities. Those partnerships must seek out and encourage greater reporting so that efforts can be taken to stop and deter it. I will continue this battle. I thank my colleagues for joining me and for approving this resolution and for demonstrating that we care. We care as a body and as an institution. It is not a Republican or Democratic issue. It is truly bipartisan because this generation has worked hard, accumulated savings, counted on security, and is depending on us, trusting us for their safety. And we know that the number in this age group will only grow, in fact, double within the next years. And that is why we must address it. And I thank, again, my colleagues for doing so.